This is SOS Studio Sessions number 56, Twitter Tips and Tricks to be a Self-Promotion Expert. My name is Jordan Woods Robinson. I am your host for SOS Studio Sessions, a weekly business podcast for artists, and this is a special video edition. And we are testing the theory that all artists are entrepreneurs. Each of us has a vision that we want to share with the world, and it is your sole responsibility to reach those levels of success that you want and that you deserve in your career. Tech, everything. Twitter is the main thing that we're going to focus on today. I'm going to do some tech roundups of different social media platforms, and Twitter is the main focus. One thing that, depending on where you are in the battle, some people see Twitter as being trivial and just being kind of a nothing, but Twitter is such a powerful tool for you if you know how to use it well. And I see so many people that aren't using it correctly, and that's the un-PC way of saying it, but you're just not doing it right. And so there are finite ways of doing certain things on Twitter that will allow you to have maximum control over what you're doing. And actually, so Twitter is like an ocean, right? And you're throwing a pebble into the ocean, and usually it just sinks. But when you're using the right tools, you can actually skip your pebble multiple times so that it goes further and further and keeps getting more and more views, and people notice it more, and Twitter can be that powerful if you know what you're doing. So we're going to go through 10 steps to get you to be a Twitter expert so that you can take control over your Twitter profile. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to start with my number one pet peeve. Do not start any tweet with an @ name. And that means putting that little @ symbol first and then a name. So if you're saying like Sesame Street is a great show, and you say @Sesame Street, the only people who are going to see that are you and Sesame Street and the people who follow both of you. All right. So you might have an audience of 1,000 people and you want them to know how cool Sesame Street is. But by putting @Sesame Street first, only a handful of people, those who follow you and Sesame Street and your mutual followers, are actually going to see that tweet. So what you have to do is you have to put anything before that first @ symbol. The common practice is to add a period. And I'm going to show you how to do that on Twitter. You just log on and you get this tweet all ready to go. And normally, if you just put @ symbol first, then this is only going to go out to a couple people, and your tweet has literally just sunk to the bottom of the ocean before it even had a chance to skip. All right. But all you have to do is add a little period right there. Just one little thing. Or you can add a word, or you can add an emoji, or you can do anything you want as long as the @ name isn't the first thing. Now, if you just want to reach out to someone and say, hey, it was great seeing you last night, I really enjoyed that. And if you're just looking for a personal message to someone, fine. That's a great way to do it. It's just to put their name and then send it. But if you want your audience to see it and you want it to go out to the world, or you're trying to help someone else out, you need to put anything before that first @ name. All right? Pet peeve over. Please never start any tweet with an @ name. Thank you. Moving forward. Did you know that in your Twitter bio, you're allowed to have more than one link? So there's always the place within, when you're editing your profile, it says, what's your website URL? And you can put any URL in there. It doesn't have to be for your website. It can be for a YouTube channel. It can be for a Bandcamp link. It can be whatever you want. That's just a URL field. However, also inside your bio profile, you can have another working URL. So one thing that I've done is just put I say subscribe to newsletter, and then I put a little arrow pointing to a URL that if you click on it, it automatically takes you to a newsletter subscription link where all they have to do is put in their email address and their name, and then they're automatically subscribed. And that's great for a lot of people who want to keep up to date with you, just to be able to have a quick idea of where they need to go in order to subscribe to your newsletter. You're gonna get a lot of people subscribing just by having it right there front and center. You can also put other @ names inside your Twitter bio if you want to associate yourself with other people, if that's something that is important to you, or if you have other brands that you're affiliated with, right? So those are steps 1 and 2. Thirdly, photos. Photos equals engagement. And just think about like scrolling through your feed on your Twitter, either on your desktop or on your computer. And you might stop occasionally and read something that's just text, but you're captivated. The screen is taken up by a photo whenever you put that up there. So make sure that you have those photos that come through. And in order to do that, you just create a tweet and then you click on media and you can add any photo that you want, right? So that's super important in order to engage people and to just give some eye candy. It's so much more interesting. As a person when you're going through Twitter that it's so much more interesting to have someone actually show you something as opposed to explain it to you in 140 characters or less, right? But by putting a photo in there, that unlocks something that is amazingly powerful within Twitter that no one tells you about, and I'm going to tell you about it right now. When you upload a photo and you send it out in a tweet, you can tag up to 10 people in that photo without taking away any characters from your 140 character limit. All right. So let's say if you were to tag 10 people that you wanted to hear about this tweet that you're putting out, that would take up that would be your whole message. Just by tagging 10 people, you wouldn't have any more space to actually say what you wanted to say. But by putting up a photo and tagging those people, then you get free tags. It's not taking up any space other than putting the photo up. So what you do is you add your photo, and then there's always a button that says who's in this photo or tag people, and you click on that, and then you can tag people and make sure that it goes out to, I'm just going to tag random people. But when you tag it, you can tag up to 10 people in there, and they will be notified that this tweet went out. And if you're putting out good stuff, if you got a good message and a great photo and you tagged them, you are really improving the chances that they are going to retweet it to their audience because it's something valuable that they want to share. And you can use it for either for people who are affiliated with what it is that you're putting out there, or with people who you think might want to share it. People who have corporations that might be affiliated, or people who have similar interests that maybe you don't even know, but you can try tagging them. I don't recommend that. Try doing it with people who you do actually know, so that when they see it, they say, "Oh yeah, this is great. I want to support them and I want to share this." All right. So tagging photos, you can tag up to 10 people. Always very important. And that links back to first putting up a photo because it's super engaging. All right. That is a major hack that not many people know about. Next, we're going to look at profile consistency. And you don't have to do this, but consider all of your social media across the board. You got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got Twitter, you've got Snapchat. All of these places are part of your brand, right? And something that can be super helpful for your audience is having some consistency with your profile photo. And the main thing that's going to do is that it's going to bring that immediate trust. It's going to say, "Oh, I know this person." So if the picture's the same and someone's coming over from Facebook and finding you on Twitter, they're going to see your picture and say, "Oh, it's Jordan. I want to connect with him on Twitter too," because they already feel that sense of familiarity with the picture that you've put out there, right? And so it allows it to become a little more intimate right off the bat, and it allows you to just skip over some of that digital whateverness and be able to have a more personal connection with people. If you want to create a great header or a great background for your Twitter, and you don't have one picture that is captivating enough to do it on your own, I recommend a website called Canva. And this is inside Canva. It's completely free. And within here, you can actually go into the social media templates and you can create a Twitter header. And once you create this, it's completely free to download, unless you use a premium template that sometimes they offer. But you can choose, there's dozens of templates, and you can change the text, you can upload new photos, you can do whatever you want in order to match your brand, in order to match your Twitter feed. And then you just download it and you upload that as your new header. And so now you got a really captivating presence for your page for free, and you get to start with a template that someone else has already designed. So it saves a bunch of time. That's canva.com. It's canvas without the S, basically. And I highly recommend you check that out. And if you're looking for ways to engage people on Twitter, one of the best tools you can use is Periscope, which actually is synced with Twitter perfectly, so that it automatically brings your profile picture and your bio over. Periscope, in a nutshell, is a live streaming video service for you to be able to engage with people on your phone or your tablet and send out a one-person show to your audience that they can watch, that they can send text comments to or questions, and they can provide hearts to let you know, hey, I really like what you just said. That was great. It's a great tool. So we're going to go onto my phone, and we're going to open up Periscope. And when you go inside, you can see what other people are talking about. There's some sad stuff happening right now. But if you click on this lower right, it looks like a camera with a red dot. Click on that. And now you're about to start a broadcast. And you can type anything you want in here that's going to go out to your audience, both on Periscope and Twitter. And you can include hashtags. You can include @names. You can do anything you want on here. Anything that you can do on Twitter, you can do it on here. And make sure that you have the Twitter option turned on so that when you start the broadcast, it automatically goes out to the world. And one great thing about Periscope is that it keeps your live feed active for another 24 hours. So even if people don't get to watch you while you're actually doing it live, they can click the link and they can still watch it for 24 hours after that. And you have the option to download the video to your phone so that you can share it to other services like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, so that that content is something that you can still share with your audience on other platforms, so that it doesn't just end when the session ends. It actually keeps going. And if you want to learn more about Periscope, I went into an in-depth look with strategies and how to use it in episode 26 of SOS Studio Sessions. And that is a great way to learn 9 ways to engage and grow your audience using Periscope. And you can go through that there and really get into the nitty-gritty of this really awesome tool. And now another thing that you might not be utilizing is the idea of a pinned tweet. So on your Facebook feed, whenever you put something up, it just disappears. It's a pebble. Like I said, it's just whatever you have to say is going to get swarmed over by the millions of other people who have to say something at the exact same time that you say it, right? So it just disappears almost immediately. But if there's something important that you want people to see, that you want them to be able to come back to, you can pin it to the top of your profile page. And if you're going to do this, you probably want it to be something that either offers something or really gives some insight into your brand or your character as a person. It can either be a joke or a quote, or I went the route where I just put something up that says, I just released my pop rock EP Crazy and Back on Bandcamp, and you can listen for free at, and then I put the URL for my music, and then I put hashtag free music. And then I pinned that to the top of my page. And you can do that in any tweet that you've put up ever. There's 3 little dots down at the bottom, and you click that, and then you can click pin to profile page. And whenever you pin something, it will automatically replace the pinned tweet that was before it. So make sure you only put something up if you're ready for that last one to disappear again. All right. But it's a great tool that people don't always use, and it can really give someone, a new audience member, it can really give them a great introduction to your page, and to give them, what's the first thing that you want them to know about you that's either super pertinent right now, that's super exciting, of an event that's about to happen, or of something free that you're giving away, or a great life lesson that you just learned, or a joke, or something that you really want people to see when they're first being introduced to you. This is kind of your handshake at the top of the page, right? So while we're within pinned tweet, I also want to talk about tweet activities. And you can click on this. You can look at the activity of any tweet there's 3 lines down at the bottom of your tweets. It kind of looks like a graph or a small cityscape, I suppose. And you click on that, and it shows you all the things that are going on with your tweet. It shows you how many impressions that you've gotten, which means how many people have seen it. Total engagements, which means how many people have actually, clicked on it or otherwise. How many people have expanded it and liked it. How many people have clicked through on the URL. How many people have replied to it, and how many people have retweeted it. Everything like that. And this is a great tool so that you can actually find out what your audience is engaged by, and something that is, are they really captivated by what you put out, or did it just fall kind of flat. And then you can continue to give them similar tools, similar content that will continue to keep them engaged. If everyone's really into videos, create more videos. If everyone's really into photos, put up more photos. And that just gives you some great insight. So those are some good things of pinned tweets and Twitter analytics that will give you a little more control of allowing people, of knowing what people want to see and then having that be the first thing that's on your page so that they see that first, right? So along those lines, having an electronic press kit in order to keep your numbers updated is crucial for many people. And you can do that just by grabbing a quick screen capture on your page. So you can look and see how many followers you have and just do a quick screen capture. You can just, I'm on a Mac, so it's Shift-Command-4, but just get a picture of that so that you can include that on your EPK to show that, you're not just fudging the numbers. This is what you actually have right now. And you'll want to probably update that every 1 to 3 months in order to make sure that the numbers are as accurate as possible so that if you're showing that EPK to anyone, they can know what's going on in your social media right now. We're also going to talk about hashtags. Hashtags are something that can be super powerful, or they can just be used as a joke. Some people use them as like a punchline on a joke, or just a way of making fun of themselves or making fun of someone else, which is fine. That's a completely valid way to use a hashtag. However, a hashtag is intended to introduce you to someone outside of your audience. There are lots of people that come onto Twitter that will just search for a hashtag, such as hashtag free music or hashtag recording studio, something like that. And then by clicking on that, they'll actually get to see all of the different tweets that had included that hashtag over the past couple days, depending on how far they go back. And that's a great way for your tweet to go out there and to engage with someone that you've never met before and maybe who's never heard of you, but because you have a similar interest and because you tagged it appropriately, they are going to learn more about you and to maybe, want to engage with you or to follow you or to, to reply to you or to follow the link that you put up, whatever the case is. So hashtags can be very powerful. They can be great for Q&As as well. Periscope is great for Q&As because you get that video component. But if you're not doing, you can also just do a text Q&A, just a Twitter Q&A, and you can use a hashtag in order to keep people all on the same conversation. So do a little research for that. Sorry, my watch just went off. Do a little research for that so that you're not using a hashtag that someone else is using. For example, I went through recently and wanted to do a Q&A that was Ask Jordan, but I looked it up and there was another event that was using it around the same time. And there were already tons of tweets going on at that time. So probably what I did would have just muddied the waters for both of us. It wouldn't have been super helpful to anyone. So I found another hashtag that would work. And I just told my audience, hey guys, if you want to take part in the Q&A, just use this hashtag. And it's as simple as that. But just do a little research beforehand to know if the hashtag that you want to use is already being used by someone else, because that could really just not work out well for both parties, right? And lastly, did you know that you can save a draft within Twitter so that you don't have to just come up with something and then if you forget about it, then it gets lost in the world? You can actually save a draft. And by doing that, you can go onto your phone. I'm going to show you right now. Go onto your phone and click Start a New Tweet. And then you type something. You say, can't wait for the event tomorrow. Oh, I'm a bad typer. There we go. But let's say that event isn't actually for another week or something, and you don't want to share it right now. So actually close out of that tweet, and you have the option of either deleting or you can save a draft. Click Save Draft, and it still disappears as though you were done with it. And how do you find it? Oh, let's go back and find the draft. So now you click on Start a New Tweet again, and you can click on, there's a little quill and 3 lines next to your profile photo up at the top. You click on that, and now you get all of the drafts that you saved before. And you can click on the top one, that's your most recent, and you get to start right where you were. So then you can add a photo, and you can, tag it with who's in this photo. You can tag a whole bunch of people, whatever, just making up names here. And then now you're ready to go. And then you just click tweet, and it's going to go out to everyone as though you had just written it. So just as one final recap, I'm going to go through these 11 things that I just mentioned, just in order as a quick little bullet point. So never start with an @name. Please, please never start with an @name. Make use of the multiple URLs in your profile, probably put a newsletter subscription link in there. put up lots of photos and tag them so that you can engage with as many people as possible and expand your reach by tagging up to 10 people. Keep your profile consistent between your different profile pages and between different social media. And if you need some help, you can go to Canva in order to make some really captivating images. Use Periscope, which is a great way to engage with your fans and to continue sharing even beyond the live feed. Put up pinned tweets at the top of your page in order to give someone a virtual handshake, and also look over the analytics for everything that you've put out there so that you know what people are engaging with and what's really exciting to them. Do screen grabs of your numbers in order to update your EPK. Use hashtags wisely and make sure to do a little research before you get into it so that you know you're not using someone else's. And lastly, you can save drafts onto your phone so that you're not you don't have to keep it in your mind, and so that you can, maybe you'll have an idea and you can either share it later when it's more pertinent or when it's more, when the event is actually coming up, however you want to use that. But you can save drafts onto your phone. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening and watching. If you have anything that you want to share, please include it in the comment section on YouTube. This is these are a bunch of my ideas for Twitter, but if you have anything that you like to use, other tools that people might be able to use on their own, put that in there and we'll all share it. And if you're not currently following me on YouTube or on my podcast, then please subscribe at SOS Studio, and on iTunes it's SOS Studio Sessions. SOS Studio is one word. And if you search for that, then you can subscribe, and that way you can get your podcast or your video automatically so that you can absorb that content however you want to do it. And lastly, if you are looking for a great community of songwriters, SOS Studio offers 4 weeks free. You get unlimited distribution of your music to iTunes and beyond. You get a virtual recording studio for creating new music, and you get a community of songwriters who are sharing resources and experiences in order to give each other the tools to really conquer what it is to be an independent artist. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much. My name, again, is Jordan Woods Robinson, saying release your sound with SOS Studio.